Hey there drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's clip, I'd like to take a closer look at a brand new accessory for your DJI Spark that's going to add just a little bit of extra ground clearance to the quad. Now I love this Spark and I've been flying it pretty much every day since it arrived and just had a ton of fun with it. But like with anything I fly, I'm always looking for ways to improve that flying experience to make it safer, more fun, and just enhance the experience in general for me. And one of the concerns I had with the Spark from the first day I started flying it was its lack of ground clearance. When you land this thing, it is within 1/8 of an inch of any surface that it lands on, and my worry there is that the most expensive part of this quad and delicate part of it is the gimbal and camera assembly, and that's the part that's going to come closest to the surface you're landing on. It's kind of the same complaint I had with the Mavic, and I totally understand that DJI built these to be small and portable drones, and putting big goofy feet on them would have really added to the size and the bulk of the quad. And even in this case, it's designed to be hand launched and hand caught, for quick selfies to get it up in the air. And I do that on occasion, but I'm an old school pilot and I really like to take off from the ground and land on the ground. So that lack of ground clearance has been something that's been worrying me since it came out. Now, I do work with a lot of manufacturers of accessories for aftermarket products, and they've sent me a bunch of samples to try. I must have tried 6 or 8 different kits already, and honestly, most of the kits that are on the market up till now have been kind of hokey. They've been small, fragile plastic things that snapped on underneath, and they were wobbly when it landed. I actually had one of them fall off when I was flying it. So of all the stuff that I've tried, I really haven't found anything that I can endorse up to this point until now. This kit came out a couple of weeks ago and I've been testing it for the last couple of weeks, and it does everything I need it to do. It's securely attached to the drone. It goes on very easy. It comes off very easy. It's inexpensive. So all the stuff that I care about when I'm buying an accessory is found in this kit here, and it really does the job of what I need to give me that extra ground clearance. Now, just to give you an idea of where you're at to start with, it's hard to see how close that is to the table. I've got a board here. So let's pretend for a second that that's sitting on the ground now. If you look closely from the side, this is pretty obvious to anybody that owns a Spark. You've got like 0 ground clearance there, and that is a worry for me because, again, if I fly it and land it in the field, if there's grass or there's weeds poking up, they're going to hit the camera, they're going to get up inside the gimbal. And even if I land this thing on a perfectly flat surface like a parking lot, coming down, the prop wash from these propellers downward is going to kick up a lot of debris that's going to get up on the camera, and I'm going to have to clean that off. And I'm worried too about that grit getting inside that gimbal assembly. So for me, finding a solution that lifts it off the ground has been something that I've been looking for. So this kit is extremely easy to use. It consists of 4 different legs that actually spin on from the bottom of the feet that are there. So there are 2 left ones and 2 right ones. And they're labeled A and B, and it's not really super important, and I'll put a diagram up of how they go on. It's not super important you remember which is A and which is B. The easiest way to put these on from my perspective is that they spin on to the leg. So you pop it on the leg and then spin it on. You want them to spin on from the inside of the drone. So this one would spin on this way, this one would spin on that way. Same thing here, spin on that way, spin on that way. So in this case, I've got one that's going to spin on here. It goes on just that quick. This one I'll put it on here and spin it on. You'll get better at this as you do it a couple of times, but basically you're going to crisscross A and B. And then once they're on the drone, what did that take me, 30 seconds? There you go. So there's your additional ground clearance. And to give you a comparison again from before, I think that gives you about 1 inch, maybe 1 inch of ground clearance on the camera, and that's all I really need. It's not like I need this thing to sit off the ground a foot, because then it's going to get wobbly this way. That's plenty for me to be able to feel secure that if I land it in a field, okay, if I got really tall grass, it's going to get in there. For most of the flying conditions I do, that's exactly what I need, that additional level of ground clearance. They go on really easy, they come off really easy, and again, they're extremely durable. The ones we're offering actually match the color of the quad exactly, so it looks like a stock item. They don't make the quad look goofy like a lot of the landing gear kits that are out there, so for me, it's the perfect solution. One other added benefit, even if you like to hand launch and hand catch, and I do that occasionally, like I said, there have been times where I've launched it on a day where it's unpredictable weather and it's gone up in a very calm afternoon, and then 10 minutes later, by the time I'm ready to land it, the wind is kicked up, and now I've got a quad that's coming in for a landing and moving around, and I find myself forcing a landing. So having these on doesn't preclude you from launching from your hand or landing in your hand, and actually it helps you because it keeps all your fingers underneath the quad. It's almost like a guard to keep your fingers down. One of the hazards is some people catch like this, and if your fingers pop up top, you're now in the path of the blade. So you definitely want to have a flat palm. This sort of forces you to keep your fingers inside those 4 legs, and that way if I launch it this way, it's not going to preclude me from landing on my hand, but if the wind does kick up, I can land this on the ground and not have to worry about it. So pretty cool product. I'm going to do a blow up now of exactly how to put these things on so you can see the procedure for it. Again, it's drop dead simple to add them. Then I'll come back at the end with some final comments. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to add them to the quad. This Spark ground clearance kit is very easy to install and comes with 4 feet, 2 of which are right-handed, 2 of which are left-handed. If you look at the clips themselves, you'll notice on the top you see an A and a B there. That's to tell you which motor mount they go on, so there's actually 2 sets. The way I remember that is B goes on the black blades. So these 2 have black blades, they go on the bottom there, and the A goes on the other one. Another easy way to remember it is when you flip it over, you're going to basically slide this down over the motor mount. So that just slides down over the motor mount gently and then clips on the arm. You want to make sure you're clipping from the inside of the quad. So I always think of this as the inside of the quad, clipping out from the inside. So in this case, that's going from the inside of the quad out. So I'm clipping this way. Same thing here, inside of the quad out. And then the last one, inside of the quad out. And that's pretty much it for the kit, and you're done. That couldn't have taken me 15 seconds to get all 4 of those on there. Now to remove them, you just basically push up on this tab, and that'll free it up, and then you can spin it off and drop it. Then you can go back and do all the other feet. This whole process should take you about 10-15 seconds to do. And again, I'm not rushing here, but I like accessories that I can add and take off very quickly. When you're done for the day, that goes in your kit, and this goes in your kit, and you're done. Now, I do want to look a little bit closer at the construction of these because I mentioned before they're very durable. See the ribbing that's built inside there? That's been formed into the plastic. That adds extra strength to this. This is a very heavy-duty clip. You can also notice that the plastic here, where this thing is going to be flexed a lot, is very heavy-duty as well. So I like them because they're very, very lightweight. They're not going to add any extra major weight to your quad. You're going to be able to fly it just as far as you did before, but it does provide that extra protection so that when you're landing, you've got that additional ground clearance. I just had a couple of final thoughts of why I think this particular accessory is such a good value and something you might want to consider. For me to add any accessory to my kit, it's got to do a few things. It should be inexpensive, it should be easy to use and quick, it should be durable, and it has to be something that solves a problem. I'm not a big fan of just clipping things on a quad to make it look cool. It's got to solve a problem for me. And what I was going after here was finding a way that I could get my Spark up off the ground when I take off and I land when I'm not using a hand launch or a hand catch. This solves that problem for me, and it ticks all the other boxes as well. I love the fact that it's extremely easy to use. It goes on so quickly. It's small, so it takes up very little space in my kit. It pops off at the end of the day very quickly, so I'm not spending 2 minutes or 3 minutes putting a bunch of stuff on there to get it working. I know that it's on there securely, so when I'm flying, it's not going to pop off somewhere and then give me a hard time to land. I also love the fact that it doubles as sort of a finger guard when you're taking off and landing, that you're not going to have your fingers. It's really difficult to get your fingers up around the outside of this. You're going to keep your fingers underneath most times, and that sort of keeps your hand conformed underneath the quad. So because of all those reasons, this is something that I use pretty much every time I fly. Now, I did mention that I went through 4 or 5 other ones. I'm not a big fan of putting clips together bashing products, so you won't see me reviewing those products. What I tend to do is to buy a lot of accessories, and I work with a lot of accessory manufacturers to test them. When I find one I like, that's the one I use, and that's the one I'll talk about, and I throw the rest of them out. I don't hang on to them. So this is the kit that I use. It's the one that's in my travel bag whenever I'm out there flying my Spark. It's just worked great for me, and again, it solves all the problems that I needed for a lift kit. So if I've missed anything in this clip, as always, drop it in the comments below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. If you have questions about it, please get in contact with me either through the YouTube channel or shoot me an email. Either way is a good way to get in touch with me. I do have a link below where we have these available on our website. Again, we're very competitively priced, so if you're looking for this particular kit and you want to support the channel, hit the link below and you can buy it from us. That's pretty much all I had for today. I want to thank you guys again for watching these clips. I've watched our subscriber count go up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you might consider hitting that subscribe button because that'll allow you to get notifications whenever we put new clips up on new products or new flying techniques or some of the tutorials that we do. But, again, thanks an awful lot for watching. I'm having a lot of fun putting these together, as I say every time. So as long as you guys are finding value in them, I'll keep doing them. So until next time, happy flying.